So my name is Margot Gerber, and I'm the current president of the Hollywood Heritage Board. And we are here today to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the listing of our National Register District on Hollywood Boulevard, which is officially called the Commercial and Entertainment District, out here on the boulevard. We were listed in 1986 at the highest level of significance in the country. We are actively involved in preservation projects. Even today, Brian Curran, who's our past president and co-chair of our preservation committee, who's over here, was at City Hall at a Cultural Heritage Commission meeting to talk about the Hollywood Center Motel, which is at 6722 Sunset. So if anybody wants to go over there afterwards to get some footage of the motel, you're going to see that in the news, because we did successfully get past to the next step. The Cultural Heritage Commission took the building under consideration for landmark status. So it is with a lot of gratitude for Councilmember Hugo Soto-Martínez to come here today to help us with we need the council member to help us move things forward with our revitalization announcements about trying to get Hollywood Boulevard to recover after the pandemic and become vital part of our community again. I'd like to acknowledge that we have people here from the Hollywood Partnership, who we're going to talk about more later, from the Chamber and the Hollywood Historic Trust. So Fran will deliver some more comments about that in a moment. As an added treat, one of our things here is that we're an exhibition space. We will be opening to the public in January officially with tours of our Hollywood miniature. And in the media alert I sent out, you find a it's not a Dropbox, a Google Drive folder that has a brochure on it and many other maps and things that you can look at and bring back to your newsrooms. But we're going to get to look, it's right over here, at our 1930s, the City of Hollywood miniature, which captures Central Hollywood as it looked between around 1936 and 39. And I'm going to introduce two of our 5 founders of Hollywood Heritage, which started to attempt to preserve the boulevard and the area of Hollywood, the studios, all these things in the 1980s. So we're honored to have them still involved with our organization, Fran Offenhauser and Christy Johnson McAvoy. Fran Offenhauser is an architect responsible for restoring some of our region's most important landmarks, including the Motion Picture Academy's Fairbanks and Pickford Centers, and for leading the force to bring the Oscars back to Hollywood, where they are today. And Christy McAvoy is an advisor emeritus for the National Trust, who we can call our own, as she started her distinguished career in historic preservation and scholarship here in Hollywood and built the go-to company Historic Resources Group, and is still active with the Ebell Theater and Club and other organizations. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Fran, who's in the purple jacket, and Christy, who's wearing the silent film scarf.
So you can tell me, am I doing this correctly with the microphones?
Yes.
I wanted to thank you, Councilman Soto-Martínez, and I wanted to point out that Christy and I are reaching the time where you can have us declared historic landmarks. So people, we have a gem here on Hollywood Boulevard. But you don't see it, but if you fly a drone up above, it's a fantastical world of incredible buildings, and it's preserved and it's still here. Hollywood is still here. It's a walkable, potentially attractive main street for our community and a National Register Historic District. It was the style center of the world at one point. It was the Fifth Avenue of the West. People, this is not Des Moines. We're here in Hollywood. But our main street is troubled. It's troubled by vacancies. It's troubled by empty buildings, landmarks hiding in plain sight, covered up. We have a display there called What's Under There, covered up, but still under there, and they're empty. I want to shout out to the Hollywood Partnership. I know you're here. For tackling the central issues in making Hollywood attractive, making it secure and clean, and strenuously doing so. And to the Hollywood Historic Trust, which is the Walk of Fame, and to, I'm adding in the farmer's market just because it's the best anywhere. And well, Hollywood Heritage is jumping in. We're here. We've moved to Hollywood Boulevard, and we are establishing this presence here. We've been here. And we want you to join with us to turn the ship around. How? You have to change the conversation from hoping that steel and glass towers are going to plant themselves somewhere that make us look like Dubai, and see the possibility and prioritize what's already here. And it's right here in front of us. So to spotlight our hidden gems in the coming months, the run up to the Olympics, okay, we're not going to have this all done by the Olympics, but we are going to invite residents, business owners, property owners, realtors to participate. We're going to have sponsor fun events. We're going to work with shop windows, just as we've enlivened our shop windows, so as you walk along Hollywood Boulevard, you see the historic place. We hope and get the security grills up. We are tackling structural and electrical issues. There's more, but most importantly, our message is we have to prioritize what's here, not what high-rise somebody may build. We have to make this meaningful and attractive. So we are focusing on what we call the Hollywood 11, and I think you have a handout. 11 specific buildings. I don't know that you can get this, but it's in your materials. 11 specific buildings in and around the Hollywood Boulevard district. And I'll get out of the way so you can see the district. The district is what's in the red boundary. And Christy's going to tell you more about it. But we're going to spotlight, just to start to make it manageable, start with spotlighting 11 particular buildings. And we're hoping with that energy, we can invite neighbors and residents to come back to Hollywood. Our initiative is called Come Back to Hollywood. So Christy and I started buying and restoring historic buildings 40 years ago, and I'm seeing progress again. So I want to bring your attention to some great things that are going on. Taco Bell, and thank you to the Hollywood Hills West Neighborhood Council. Taco Bell restored their building. World of Wonder has been here, I think, for 15 years, restored their building, has a thriving television production company. A shout out to AMDA, to Dave Gaida and Jose Malagon and the Vinyl District, thank you. The people who restored the Superba building rather than tearing it down, the Earl Carroll restoration, which is probably going to be the most important thing in Los Angeles for decades. The Graumans, Pantages, El Capitan, Egyptian, the movie palaces, the greatest collection of movie palaces in America that are restored and reused. So I want to especially thank the Hollywood Historic Trust that's been working with us at the Chamber of Commerce. And pardon me for turning my page, but I'm going to hand it to Christy. I just didn't want to forget our landlord here who keeps this building meticulously, Robertson Properties. So let's prioritize what's here, and let's start paying attention to our Hollywood Historic District. And for more on the whys and wherefores and what makes it historic, Christy Johnson-McAvoy.
Thank you. So the initiative that Fran has alluded to that Hollywood Heritage is undertaking is the continuing story of Hollywood Heritage in Hollywood as we were formed about 40 years ago. The reason that we're here, the context for the reason that we're here, is because Hollywood Boulevard is one of the most famous main streets in America. We're known for people coming here. It's the field of dreams. It's our field of dreams. It's not a baseball field. But, people came here to fulfill their dreams, whether it was opening a shop on Hollywood Boulevard or the young starlet that was trying to break into movies. Hollywood Boulevard was ground zero. They needed a place to live. They needed a place to shop. They needed a place to, hang out. They needed a place to validate what was going on. And the Hollywood Boulevard district, basically between Highland and Gower, encompassed movie theaters, fashion houses, restaurants, dry cleaners, grocery stores. Think of a main street anywhere, and we had all of those things. Because it was formed by a series of really amazing real estate developers, and yes, indeed, we have to credit some of the real estate developers of the time, particularly of the 1920s, the boulevard developed into 3 separate nodes, and you can see that here on the map. We have one of the districts that's clustered around Highland, to the west of Highland. That became full of movie palaces and higher end, larger buildings, buildings for that time that were larger, 5 or 6 stories. The middle part of the boulevard was the neighborhood part of the boulevard. That's where you found the grocery stores, the shoe stores, the things that weren't as elegant, but the things you needed to live were all in the middle part of the building of the boulevard. And the hat makers, the people that the stars would go to for their shoes. All of those folks had a place, the bookstores, all of those folks had a place. And then as we get down toward the other end of the boulevard, we had another larger node of skyscrapers and banks and the Pantages Theater and more restaurants. So we had entertainment nodes on both ends and the neighborhood in the middle. The architecture reflected that. In the 20s, one of the things that architects would look to was, if I'm building a bank, maybe I'm going to have a classic style. If I'm building a theater, I'm going to have a revival style that is going to bring people in. I'm going to make it look like Egypt. I'm going to make it look like China. I'm going to make it look Art Deco. So we got lucky. We have a dozen styles on the boulevard. And if you look at them, you can tell that building's story. And then we have the smaller storefronts, which make up the background. If we lose that smaller scale buildings, we're going to lose that story of how all these people interacted and came together. So the history of Hollywood is on the boulevard in 13 blocks and about 104 buildings, some of them in better shape than others. But what we want to do is honor the collective of what our forefathers and foremothers, by the way. There were several women owners of built and property developers on Hollywood Boulevard. And of course, we have Dinah Wilcox Beveridge, who was, with her husband, the founder of Hollywood, and who gave the land on which many of the churches and the libraries and other things sat, and whose land we are standing on now. They were the first to look at Hollywood and see the hope and the promise that it became. So 40 years ago, we were in the Masonic Temple. The Masonic Temple is known to most of you as the home of Jimmy Kimmel. But to us, it is the Masonic Temple where the State Historic Resources Commission, for the first time, heard our story about the collective and determined that Hollywood Boulevard was worthy of listing in the National Register. A little bit esoteric, but we had asked for the nomination to be nominated at the local level of significance. All preservation in the United States is local, because people are telling their own stories of their own communities wherever they are. The commission felt that we had underestimated the importance of Hollywood Boulevard, and it was the commission who asked that Hollywood Boulevard be designated at the national level of historic significance to better capture its place and the place of the entertainment industry, the role of the entertainment industry in the history of the United States. So I think I was wearing this scarf 40 years ago. It's my Women in Silent Film scarf. So for good luck today, we're going to hope that the Boulevard, which has endured for 40 years, continues with the stewardship of all of you, and we can continue to make these dreams come true. Thank you.
There's one thing, Christy, I think you forgot to mention, you were the one who wrote the nomination. Okay. 40 years ago, she's the
I
one
was.
who wrote it.
And it's,
Okay.
so please come join us. I don't know if you had words to say.
Yeah, I'll have some brief words to say. I want to just thank everyone for having me here today. To Brian, Margaret, the Hollywood Heritage, and everyone that's here with us today. My name is Hugo Soto-Martínez. I'm the council member for the 13th District. I'm very proud to represent Hollywood and, of course, Hollywood Boulevard. It is an honor to be here today as we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the designation of Hollywood Boulevard as a National Register Historic District, but also to recommit ourselves to keep building for the future. Hollywood Boulevard is literally the beating heart of Hollywood, and because of the dreams that people come here, it is also lined with stars and a lot of folks wanting to be part of the history of Hollywood. Now, the history of this street is baked into the history of our city, and because of the hard work of groups like the Hollywood Heritage, it has also become a major part of the history of our country. Literally, across the globe, when people think of the United States, they think of Hollywood. And as a council member representing Hollywood, I'm often asked about what is the future of Hollywood? Because when people come here, they see the vacant storefronts, they see the lack of TLC that we need, and this year has been difficult. This year has been very difficult for the street. The federal administration, the policies, the tariffs, the attacks on our immigrant communities, when you walk down the street, because it is a melting pot of the city, it looks very different. However, I remain optimistic. I remain optimistic because we have incredible partners like the Hollywood Heritage, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, the Hollywood Bid, and my team and I are deeply committed to make sure that Hollywood remains the main street of the United States, not just now, but for the next 40 years. Which is, I was very excited to hear from the Hollywood Heritage that not only are we having this plan for the future, but we've actually identified a number of storefronts that are just needing a little bit of revitalization. When people come to Hollywood, we want them to admire the history of what is the street, but also think about how that mixes with the future of the city. And so, which is why we introduced a resolution at City Council to recognize the outstanding achievement that the Hollywood Heritage has done, and that will be being voted on pretty soon. And so officially, we will have the big, beautiful official proclamation signed by the mayor and everyone else. But in the meantime, I do want to acknowledge our co-founders, Fran and Christy, for their amazing history and everything you have given. I really enjoyed seeing the entire street. I can't believe I haven't seen that yet. And it was done by an actual, someone who worked in Hollywood creating sets. And so it's really beautiful. But for today, I want to reiterate, we're here to celebrate the 40th anniversary of this amazing organization. And again, to recommit ourselves for Hollywood. And so for that, I would like to present this certificate of recognition on behalf of the City of Los Angeles to the Hollywood Heritage for all the incredible work they've done over the years. And here's to 40 more years.